A dozen protesters gathered in front of the federal building in Bangor today to speak out against the firing of federal whistleblowers. Organizers say 2 civil rights attorneys and a supervisor at the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development were fired last year, shortly after raising concerns about the department's actions. More than 1,600 people, including over 100 Mainers, signed a petition regarding the so-called Fair Housing 3. It alleges the whistleblowers were trying to outline how HUD Secretary Scott Turner was dismantling civil rights enforcement and violating federal law.
These whistleblowers are standing up for all of us. They're standing up for people who might get discriminated against in housing based on their race, gender, religious orientation. And I think more important than that is that when whistleblowers are fired, these are our public servants. They work for us. And when they're fired, that means that anybody who stands up for us is at threat.
The group delivered the signed petition to Senator Susan Collins' office. They're calling on Collins to do what she can to rectify the situation. Their demands include accountability from Secretary Turner and rehiring the 3 fired HUD employees.